Batgirl, a film that I didn't even know was being made, has been cancelled, and there's been a lot of sympathy towards those that were involved with the movie and a lot of anger towards Warner Brothers for cancelling it like it was an unwarranted decision. But there was a reason that this film was scrapped so it could never reach the big screen, and maybe that's because Warner Brothers had a light bulb moment. A moment that prevented them from releasing their worst DC movie. And that's saying something. The film ended up costing $100 million to make, $20 million over budget, so I've read, and it could have cost up to $50 million more just to market it, and then tens of more millions just to get it out across the globe. Warner Brothers said that they couldn't see Batgirl making a return on investment, so spending another $60 to $70 million just for the movie to tank, hardly a risk worth taking. Now, why did they think it was going to tank? No one had even seen it, right? Wrong. There was a test screening and that did not get good reviews. In fact, it got awful reviews, and that put no doubt in Warner Brothers' mind that this movie would just flop and it's just not worth putting out there. Now, people on Twitter, of course, have been saying that this movie should at least be released on HBO Max, because it's probably, nowhere near as much spending to just put it on the streaming service compared to getting it out in theaters and whatnot. However, I have a feeling this is just to do with the movie itself, the elements of the movie, what this movie is trying to be. Warner Brothers, I think they knew this was not going to go down well with audiences and it wasn't going to be attractive to people to go and watch this movie. Now, let's make no mistake, studios are trying to make things more woke by shoehorning more inclusive and diverse things into their movies in order to please those that complain that they're not represented. Now, when I go to watch a movie, I just want to escape from the world for the duration of that movie, not have politics and virtue signaling jump scaring me midway through. And Batgirl, it had a high chance of doing something like that. This is posed by someone who was involved in the movie. Thank you for the outpouring of love, Batgirl fam. Our time in Glasgow was filled with lots of laughter, joy, love, passion, and dedication from the amazing crew and close-knit cast. Batgirl was truly a labour of love. We're excited and eager to share with you all who've championed this inspiring character and our fam of non-traditional, underrepresented peeps having the opportunity to share with the world that anyone and everyone can be a superhero. A female-written, female-produced film starring an Afro-Latina Angel and directed by Muslim, Moroccan, Belgian wonder kids with a female assistant director, by the way, about a female character as imagined by a female comic book writer who forges her own path to uplift the lives of those around her, including her trans best friend. Deserves to be seen and will find a way. There is no price tag on that. In the meantime, sharing some of these with you, leafing through them has reminded me of the magical experience we had in all the shared desire of creating something for you to enjoy, blah blah blah. Yeah. And the person who wrote this is playing the trans best friend. It's a woman who used to be a man. I'm going to be honest, I get confused about whether that's transgender man or transgender woman. I think it's transgender woman. Yeah. So yeah, that's who wrote this post. Yeah. So yeah, I think that kind of summarizes why Warner Brothers thought this movie would tank and why it did tank at the test screening and why they think audiences wouldn't receive it very well, because it's clearly just trying to force feed stuff. It's just trying to include loads of things, and I don't think there was actually any real focus on the story or the movie here. Now, don't get me wrong, it is sad, I guess, for the people involved with the movie. They put a lot of work in, a lot of time in. So yes, they wasted their time. Okay, it's a shame in that regard, but we got to look at what this movie is and what it was trying to be. There's a reason Top Gun Maverick did so well at the box office, why reviews were awesome, because it wasn't trying to please people by containing diversity and trying to be inclusive. Do you know what it's trying to do? It's trying to do this thing called be a good movie, and that's why it was a good movie, and it made a lot of money because it was a good movie. Someone went to see that and they said, oh, that was a good movie. I'm going to tell my friends to watch that. And then maybe they went back with their friends and watched it a second time. That's the point. It's word of mouth. People take notice of reviews. There's a reason a lot of people didn't go and see Lightyear in the end. And there's a reason that even if this movie had come out, a lot of people would have skipped over it. But Top Gun Maverick, great reviews. It had action, it had fun stuff, it had fighter jets, it had Tom Cruise doing cool shit. Maybe Warner Brothers are the first studio to actually listen to the test screening and go, you know what? Maybe we should just not do this. Maybe we should not release a movie that's trying to force feed woke shit. Maybe we should just say, fuck this movie off. Let's go make something else. Let's cut our losses. And that's exactly what they've done. At the end of the day, people just want a movie that's well written and well acted and well directed and has a good soundtrack. That's all we want. That's all we want. This is not to say diversity doesn't have a place in movies, because evidently that isn't true. That wouldn't be a thing. That wouldn't work. You've got to have different races, and you've got to have both the genders, of course, to make great movies out there. However, if you're only casting someone or adding a character to tick a box, all you're doing is hindering the movie and just hindering the story and hindering the whole production at that point. Now, DC have hardly set the world alight since the Nolan trilogy, and whilst I like the Snyder trilogy, it wasn't for everyone. And if we're being honest, the two best projects to come out of DC have been Joker and the Batman. Now, these are films that are not part of the main DCEU, where it seems like Batgirl was going to be part of that because it had J.K. Simmons playing Commissioner Gordon, and he played him in another movie, I think Justice League, and it also featured Michael Keaton returning as Batman, even though in this universe Ben Affleck plays Batman, but I think they were trying to go for a multiversal theme. Regardless, you know, even the plot itself doesn't sound great. It sounds like a bit of a messy movie, and it sounds like it just sort of spawned out of nowhere, and it's kind of confusing about where this is meant to fit in. And that's kind of the problem. It feels like this movie was being made more than anything to tick a box, in the sense that it's not following on from anything. It's just being made because there is not another DC project that's, you know, including these certain elements. Now, when it comes to the comic that this is based off, Batgirl does have a transgender best friend in the comic, so it's one of them that they are basing it off the comic and they're trying to go for something there. But it's not the movie that fans really want. We want like a Superman sequel. We want maybe another Ben Affleck Batman movie. I think, you know, that's something we always wanted. We wanted to see more of Zack Snyder's visions for DC. So, you know, I think they haven't just cancelled it because of the fact that it's trying to be a force-feeding woke movie, because it definitely seems like it is. But they've also cancelled it because it's just not fitting in with what people actually desire from DC movies. I think I speak for most people when I say that we just want good movies, and when it comes to comic book movies, we want to see good comic book movies, because they're so hit and miss these days, and if another miss has just been canned and we don't even have to watch it, I see that as a dub. Regardless, what do you think about it? Let me know. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.